Welcome to Sports Talk.
Hello and welcome. I'm Nick from Top Notch Sports, and today we're going to be going over the 2021 edge rushers. Now, with this being stated, there are a decent amount of edge rushers I want to cover. About 16 guys I'm going to cover in this video here today, and we're going to break them down again in depth like I do with all of them. We're going to compare them to the 2020 draft, where I put them amongst those guys, and so on and so forth. So let's just hop right into it. I've been up now for over 24 hours. I believe it's been about 28, 29 hours straight. I pulled an all-nighter last night. Probably wasn't the greatest idea, but I had to get some work done and grind out MLB The Show. So let's hop right into this, and let's go right into the edge defenders right now. All right, as you guys see here, it's the 2021 edge prospect. So again, we're going to hop right into this right away. I brought you to this screen. Look, number one thing is, I'm telling you again and again, my rankings are not going to be like the other analysts because I don't listen to the bias. I don't listen to the sports media or the sports news. I completely do this by myself. I played football. I coach football. I study the game of football. I know what to look for in these edge guys. So let's hop right into it right away. Here's my track record over the last 2 years, in 2019 and 2020. This is as far as I really remember my ranking, because I keep record of this, and I will keep on adding to this every single year now because it's literally on video. But here you go, in 2019, here were my rankings. Nick Bosa was 1, Josh Allen was 2, Montez Sweat was number 3, Khalil Ferrell was number 4, Brian Burns was number 5, and Jack Guy Polite was number 6. And in 2020, Chase Young was 1, Julian Okwara was 2, Clavon Chason was 3, Eder Gross-Matos was 4, AJ Epinesa was 5, Terrell Lewis was 6, and Curtis Weaver was 7. Now, again, these were out of the guys I actually scouted. Now, one thing I want to point out here is in 2019, I kind of wish that I brought back this. I mean, Brian Burns, I think, turned out to definitely be a better player than Khalil Ferrell, and maybe even, honestly, Montez Sweat for that matter. And you probably honestly argue and say that he might honestly be even, or if not better than Brian Burns, depending on who you're looking at and asking. I mean, Brian Burns is one of the best edge defenders in the league, especially as a young kid coming out of this draft. I mean, you can make an argument for any of these: Bosa, Allen, Sweat, and Burns. All of those guys really have turned out to be really good. Ferrell has not really had him that much success so far to this point. Again, he's a run defender, so a lot of people are going to call his name a lot. I do watch him since I'm a Raiders fan. I do think that he's performing okay, but was he worth that 4th over pick? Absolutely not, and this is how I graded him in 2019. 2020, here we go again. This year, honestly, I really don't want to change anything. I think this is honestly almost spot on so far to this point. Young being 1, Okwara, I'm still a big fan of this kid. Let's see what he can do over there in Detroit. Clavon Chason, Eder Gross-Matos, and AJ Epinesa. These other 2 guys I'm not really a huge fan of at all. Here you go. This is my grading scale. So again, I grade these guys basically on the same as that thing I grade the interior defensive lineman. Run stuffing ability, pass rushing ability, their hit power. Do they come up and make a nice hit when they wrap up, right? Is it solid? I mean, you know, some people lay the wood and other people don't. So I'm looking forward a little bit. I'll be honest with you. Pursuit is another one, and fight. Will they fight through double teams? Or are they going to fight just to get that high motor thing? That's another thing I look for, is high motor. So this is after complete analysis, after film study and pro days. Here's the first guy, and you guys are probably like, what the heck? Who is he? And listen, I don't even know who he is. I didn't know who he was until I watched this film. All I can say is, wow. Dude does not quit, chases players down on opposite sides of the field, fights through double teams, great jump off the snap. He has it all, speed and strength. This guy, let me tell you something about Ronnie Perkins here. This guy is honestly phenomenal. I was not expecting him. He was one of the last guys I scouted. Was not expecting him to get as high as a grade as he did. And again, this is according to my grade scale, not my personal analysis. My personal analysis will be at the end. But again, his strengths is his high motor. This guy does not stop fighting, even if he's double teamed. He can chase down players from the opposite side of the field. I see this guy, he doesn't give up. He pursues after him really well. He fights through double teams. He has a great jump off the snap. He's fast on film, and he's really strong on film. He has it all. There really ain't a weakness. As you'll see, here's my breakdown right now. Here you go. B+ run stuff, B+ pass rush, B hit power, A- pursuit, and an A- fight. Now, again, he ranks number 1 according to the grade scale. My grading might be a little bit differently at the end, so just stay tuned for that. Here's the next guy, Jalen Phillips. Again, he earned a 73 as his grade. That means he's earned 73% of the possible points being able to earn. Jalen Phillips, absolute monster with a great finesse move. You can utilize him in the inside or outside. He seems to be a great pass rusher. Not an amazing run stuffer, but can stop the run on pure athleticism. He is going to be a special talent. This guy, a little bit of his background story, he was supposed to be one of the best prospects in college, and then he had to retire due to a medical injury, and then he had another opportunity to go back, and now here he is again, being one of the best prospects in football. His strengths are he has great finesse moves. He's versatile. You have him on the inside or outside to rush the passer. He's a great pass rusher. He has great athleticism, which helps him in the pass and the run game. And he fights. He fights through blocks. He fights just in general, right? If the play's taking 7 seconds and he still's not through the line, hey, you know what? Sometimes we'll fight for 9 seconds to make that sack or that tackle for loss. He will not stop. And another thing is, his only weakness I really can say is his run stuffing. And again, it's not really a weakness because, like I mentioned earlier, his great athleticism kind of helps him make up for it. This guy's a big guy, okay? He's a big guy that's very athletic, and he can kind of get to the run stuffing capability if he just uses his size and his pure athleticism. Here you go again, and here you go. You see, I'm not going to always talk about these grades, but as you can see, his run stuff's a B compared to his pass rush, which is an A-. And then you guys are more than welcome to pause and look at this as much as you want. Here goes the next guy, Joseph Osai. Let me tell you something. This kid was special when I watched him. Edge, inside, and linebacker. He can do it all. Sacks, tackles for losses, and interceptions. Shall I keep going? He is a finesse rusher who has flexible hips so he can bend around the edge to get after the quarterback. Great against the run as well. Best all-around player I have seen so far, and I will stand by that. This guy can play edge. This guy can play inside, like a defensive tackle position, like interior defensive lineman, and he can also play linebacker, literally the linebacker position, cover the flats, all kinds of things. So Joseph Osai is one of the most versatile players in the draft, and he earned a really high score. And again, versatility doesn't earn anything as a grade on my scale. It's just something that is something else to add, and that's what this guy has. Again, like I mentioned, he's versatile. He can play inside, outside, and at the linebacker position. He's a finesse rusher, okay? He has flexible hips that gets him to go around the edge. So if the blocker's here and he's coming around the left side or the left side of your screen here, he's coming in this way, right? He can really get that, create that seal off, go make a nice loop and cut in and go right after the quarterback. He has really good flexible hips and agility. His weaknesses are his fighting double teams. Look, this guy plays linebacker. He plays a little bit in the inside, plays a little bit on the outside. You can't expect this guy to be able to break through double teams and be just a pure pass rusher. He's not a pure pass rusher. This guy can do a little bit of everything. So his versatility is something that makes him really solid. I mean, you can line him up anywhere. The only thing is he's not really a specialist in one field, okay? So he can do a little bit of everything, but he's not really a dominant pass rusher. And here's his breakdown. Again, you look at his run stuff, pass rush. Honestly, almost all B pluses across the board besides his fight. Here's Chris Ruff, and again, here is 72 as well. Look, Chris Ruff, really good finesse pass rusher, although he does seem small. They stick him inside and outside, but I would recommend outside in using him as a finesse guy. His pursuit seems great on film, although I cannot verify without a 40. So what I mean by that is on film, yeah, he looked like he has good pursuit, and that's why I wrote it down here. He does have pretty good pursuit on film, but again, the guy doesn't run a 40. Well, you know what? Now it's kind of concerning, right? A lot of people say, well, no, that's just to preserve the think of that he's going to have a good 40. So the only thing that he could do after running a 40 is lower his draft stock, right? If he's supposed to run a 4.4 and he runs a 4.5, that hurts his draft stock. So let's just make the people think it's 4.4. Well, I'm not like that. Listen, I like competitors that want to run 40-yard dashes and bench press and all that stuff. So by not seeing him do the 40-yard dash, that's kind of disappointing. So again, I think on film, I saw a lot of good pursuit. I usually just base my things off of pursuit, but I also do like to look at the 40, and he doesn't have it. He's a finesse pass rusher. Like I said, again, uses a little tiny rip move, swim move, all that stuff on the outside to get around him, and he's versatile. He can play inside, outside, but again, with his smallness, with his size, I would recommend him only playing on the outside because you don't want him on the inside where he's going to get bullied by interior offensive linemen. And again, his weakness, like I said, undersized. Here you go. Here's his in-depth breakdown. You're more than welcome to hit pause. Look at that as much as you want. And here we go on to the next one. Quentin Payne. And you guys are probably like, finally, a name I know. Yeah, I was shocked that he fell this far, to be honest with you, on the grade scale. A great run defender. He also has a great burst of acceleration when going after the ball carrier. A finesse rusher who can beat defenders around the edge. Not great pass rushing, but when he wins is because of his finesse. can play all over, inside or outside. Outside, he's very versatile. So again, this guy might be the best run-stuffing edge rusher in the draft, or defensive end, whatever you want to consider him. Okay, he has a burst of acceleration after he gets off the block, and he's a finesse rusher. When he does rush, it's more of a finesse style. He's not going to power through offensive linemen. And he's versatile. Again, he can play the inside and the outside of the defense. The weaknesses are his pass rushing. He's not really a great pass rusher. Again, can he use his finesse moves? Absolutely. I mean, he's going to have to work on building a little bit more of an arsenal to be able to use them properly. And the last thing is hit power. This guy doesn't really lay anybody out or even attempt to. He just likes to go for the for-sure tackle, which is a great thing to do. No knock for doing that, but he doesn't lay that boom that you would like to see some of these other guys do. Here you go. Here's his stuff. You're more than welcome to pause and look at this. And here's the next guy, Hamilcar Rasheed, or Rasheed. I don't know how you necessarily say his name, but here we go. A true edge in the sense that he can rush or play linebacker. He is more of a finesse guy, but you cannot sleep on his power. Stays disciplined in his run fits, good pursuit as well. Look, this guy, again, he's versatile. He can play edge or linebacker. Maybe go back into the flats, cover the flats, knock down a few passes. He's good like that. He's a finesse / power rusher, meaning he can do a little bit of both. He can beat you with his finesse mainly, but you can't sleep on his power, because I did see him bull rush a few offensive tackles over. He's disciplined, especially in his run fits. He doesn't go undisciplined. He doesn't just go in whatever hole he wants to go. He stays in his hole. He stays in his ground. He doesn't go flying all over the place trying to make this crazy tackle. He stays in his gap, and he plays awesome gap protection so a guy doesn't cut back into his hole and score a touchdown. And last but not least, he has great pursuit. Again, I think this has to go for a little bit. He's decently fast. Look, this guy has decent pursuit. He can hawk someone down on the other side of the field, and he fights through double teams. It is the one weakness. He doesn't really do that too much. I would like to see people do this. If they're getting double teamed, I mean, in the NFL, usually you get as an end, either nicked by a tight end and then the left tackle takes care of you, or vice versa, nicked by the tight end and the right tackle takes care of you, or a running back can even help. But I want to see these guys fight through double teams, and that's something I did not see from Hamilcar Rasheed. Here's his stuff. You're more than welcome to hit pause and look at it. And here's the next guy, Peyton Turner, who earned a 70 as his grade. A true edge. A high motor and is willing to fight through multiple blocks. He is also really good in the run game, can do both exceptionally well. Guys, I'm sorry if I'm stuttering a little bit. Again, I've been up for over probably 29 hours now. It's been a rough one. Look, his strength again. High motor, fights through double teams, good in the pass and the run game. His weakness, honestly, only is hit power. He doesn't have as many strengths as some of these other guys, as he doesn't show too many strengths, but he doesn't have a lot of weaknesses either, which is really good for someone like Peyton Turner. Here you go again, hit power. I mean, B-. Again, you don't really need hit power. I'm being honest with you. This is something that I really don't look at too much. It's just something nice to have. I mean, if someone to lay the boom a little bit and maybe pop a ball loose because of it, that's nice to see. Or hit somebody hard enough where they don't want to get hit again. Here's the next guy, Patrick Jones. And you see that he earns a 68 as his grade. One thing about Patrick Jones is, like I said, this guy, he's pretty dang special a little bit. I'm going to be honest. Has a little bit of an attitude I like, okay? And that's something that I haven't seen from many guys. He comes flying off the edge, but also has power. Loves to bull rush the tackle and try to beat them that way. He sometimes over pursues the run game, but he can recover, and he has a very high motor. Again, this is something I like to see. High motor. I'd rather have someone over pursue than under pursue, and the fact that they're really trying to get around that edge and get somebody, and they're not being lazy. That's something that he does, but it can also hurt you. So over pursues in the run game is a big weakness. But here we go. Strength, attitude. He has a nasty streak. He flies off the edge. He uses a nice bull rush to bull rush through offensive tackles, and he has a high motor. He's not willing to quit right away. And again, the only weakness I can really point out that's truly weak is that he over pursues the run game and doesn't stay in his run fits. Here you go. Here's his breakdown. And here's the next guy, Joe Tryron. All right, let me tell you something about this kid. A guy that has great reaction time to the snap. He also has a full arsenal of pass rushing moves. Can cover the flats as well. The only issue is do not see a lot of him in the run game. So again, what does he have? He has great reaction to the snap. That means he fires off the ball quickly. He has full arsenal of moves. This guy's really polished. I'm going to be honest with you. And maybe even my ranking at the end is a little bit too harsh on this guy. He could be ranked higher. So again, listen to these words that I'm telling you now, because this guy could turn out to be one of the most polished defensive ends in the draft. And he covers the flats, okay? He can come down and cover the flat, the little tiny boot leg to somebody, or so you know what I'm saying. In general, a little flat to the running back, a little tiny out to the tight end. He can honestly lock that down from his position. The only weakness I saw was not much in the film room on the run game. There wasn't too much of him stopping the run in this film. Again, with the COVID year, it's kind of hard to see it all, but I did see a lack of run stuffing in the film I did watch. Here you go again. And you see the pass rushing is there and the fight's there, but everything else, B's and lower. So again, not bad. I mean, really not bad at all. Here's the next guy, Quincy Rochet. And let me tell you something again. This guy's special as well. Absolutely relentless. He has one of the highest motors I have seen yet. He just won't stop pushing forward to try to get to the passer. He has a great jump off the snap and uses his finesse move to get around the tackle. Only question is his run defense did not see much of it on film. And that sounds identical, almost identical to what I just said about Joe Tryron as well. A lot of it was just a lack of film. This guy's absolutely relentless. He has a very high motor, great jump off the snap, finesse edge rusher, right? That means he's going to hit you with a rip move, swim move, something to the outside. Sometimes they'll go really far to the outside to get that edge because they're faster than the tackles, and can use power as well, which is honestly special. And he fights through double teams, okay? And he has a high motor, so even if he's not getting through, he's going to keep fighting to try to get through. The only weakness, I said it again, was lack of run defense on film. I couldn't see a lot of film of him stopping the run. Here you go. Here's his grades. And here's the next guy, Azeez Oujolari, okay? And look, this guy is real fast, burst of acceleration after he gets around the offensive tackle. Uses a wide loop to get around the offensive tackle, needs to develop some more pass rushing moves, but he is a dominant force when he gets through. And the issue is when he gets through. That's tough to do without pass rushing moves. A lot of the times, let's say that right here, Azeez Oujolari is the offensive tackle, okay? And I'm coming off this edge of him, okay? One thing Azeez Oujolari will do is take a really wide step to get around him. And yeah, he can beat him with speed. But the issue is if you're doing a really wide step, guess what happens? Someone can run it right through this gap right here. You're leaving this gap wide open. If you, as a defender, decide to sell out all the way over here, okay, there's going to be this huge gap open right here that you're leaving open. And if a fullback comes through here to seal off the linebacker, yeah, the defense is going to kind of get screwed. Now, another linebacker should fill in, but it doesn't always happen that way. So let's keep on going into it and see what happens next. Here's his run stuffing and pass rushing and hit power and pursuit and fight. Again, going back to it real fast, he has a burst of acceleration, like I said. He's dominant when he's through the guy, but the issue is not getting through the guy. He needs to develop more moves. He needs to become a better run stuffer and fight through double teams. And there you go again. And here's Gregory Russo. Gregory Russo is a guy that fell on the scouting, the grade scale. I'll tell you right now, he's a lot higher on my personal board. This guy's size is something special. I can tell you that much. Gregory Russo, big guy who can make plays with his overwhelming size. He has the versatility to play inside and outside. Most of his big plays were actually inside, which is interesting. Can rush the passer from both in and out, and also has the capability to drop into the flats. Again, someone that can do a little bit of everything. He has great size. He's athletic. He's versatile. He can play inside and outside, drop into the flats, and he's lengthy, which also helps him. The only issue he is, again, is the run stuffing. A lot of these guys, I didn't see a lot of run stuffing on their film. And here you go. Here's a breakdown. You're more than welcome to hit pause and look at that. And here goes the next guy, Carlos Basham. And a mainly power guy who rarely uses finesse. He's a thicker guy who wants to power through the offensive tackle. A little slow on his pursuit to the running back as well. So he's a little bit slow with his pursuit. And that's not only to the running back, but a little bit to the quarterback, but more the running back. If the running back's going on the opposite side of the field, let's say that he's on the right side and the running back's going the opposite side of the field, I don't see Basham catching up to him at all. Carlos is not going to get there. Unlike some of these other guys that honestly have this incredible athleticism to get there. He's a really decent power rusher, but his slow pursuit, it's tough for him to catch up to a running back. Here you go. You're more than welcome to hit pause and look at this. And here's the next one. Jason OWay, I think it is. OWay, I think. I remember saying OWay. I'm going to go with Jason OWay. I'm sorry. I'm going all over the place again. Ran a really fast 40, but does not seem as explosive on film as some other guys. Uses a wide loop to get around tackles. Does not have a large arsenal of weapons to use. Tons of talent, just needs coaching. And again, if you run a 40 and you run a 4.37 as a defensive end or edge rusher, that's special. The interesting part is that he doesn't have a lot of moves. He has a very small arsenal. So he's going to need coaching. Okay. And he honestly didn't look too explosive in the film room. So could this 40 time have been a fluke for him? One good 40 time can completely rise your stock in the NFL nowadays. And then yet, little do we know, the guys aren't really that great. So I'm not going to say that this 40 time means anything special, but no, I'm going to say this. It's something to look at. I mean, if you are a coach or a GM and you see a guy runs a 4.37, you might need a little bit of speed on that edge position, maybe to drop him down into the flats, maybe to pursue a running back in the backfield. This guy might be able to do it. Again, he has tons of talent, wide loop. Again, he doesn't really beat someone with a swim move or a rip move. He likes to just go completely around him. He takes a really wide loop around the offensive tackle to get to him. And again, with his speed and his talent, his physical talent, he's able to do that. But when you get to the next level, you're going to have to actually beat offensive tackles. Here you go. You're more than welcome to look at this. And let's go to the next guy. Adekunbo Ojandanji. Okay, that's the best I can do. Strengths. Look, this guy has a few moves to beat linemen. He does a good job getting pressure on the quarterback by making that interior push, or exterior push for that matter. Either or, I've seen him do a little bit of both. Applies pressure to the quarterback. That's his strength. His weakness is his run stuffing. And again, I'm going to repeat this. If I don't see a lot of it on film, I can't say it's a strength. Here's his stuff. Mobile alternate pause. And here we go. The last guy, Rashod Weaver. And Rashod Weaver, okay, does a really good job collapsing the tackle and applying exterior pressure on the quarterback. The issue is that he does use the issue is that he doesn't use many moves. He either does a wide loop or he uses his power to push the blocker backwards, okay, basically into the quarterback. So has strength and he can beat with speed, but does not have many moves, okay? And that's very simple. So again, what does this guy have? Well, he powers the offensive tackle back, which shows you that he has some power moves. He collapses the tackles, okay, which means he really blows them back and pushes them into the quarterback to almost a pocket's supposed to look like an upside down U, okay? The way that Rashod Weaver can do, he can make a tackle bend into almost looking like an O shape. That's what he can do. He can really collapse the tackles. He does a really wide loop again, or he can use his power move to beat him. Again, doesn't really have a finesse move to go around him with a rip move. Doesn't really have a great one, to be honest with you. And he can beat you by his strength or speed. He can beat you either way, but his weakness is developing more moves. He needs to develop more moves. Right now, he is not a finished product for sure. Here you go. Here you go. Look at this as much as you want. Let me know what you think. And here we go. 2021 draft compared to 2020 rankings via grade scale using last year's scale. Very simple. This is using last year's scale and throwing the guys, their scores from this year onto that and not changing last year. And again, you see that Chase Young is by far the best guy by a while. And I know you don't see the number difference, but it's by a pretty wide margin. Ronnie Perkins would be 2 according to my scale. Okawara would be 3. Chase Young would be 4. Phillips would be 5. Gross Matos would be 6. Ruff would be 7. Pay would be 8. Rashod would be 9. Peyton Turner would be 10. Jones would be 11. Tryron would be 12. Rochet would be 13. Oujolari would be 14. Epinesa would be 15. Terrell Lewis would be 16. And Gregory Russo would be 17 according to my scale. That's not my personal analysis. We're getting there. 2021 draft compared to 2020 rankings via personal analysis. Now, this is compared to what I personally think, okay? I got Chase Young still as my top guy, with Ronnie Perkins still being my number 2, Jalen Phillips being 3, Okawara being 4, Osai being 5, Chase on 6, Pay 7, Russo 8, Rochet 9, okay? Gross Matos 10, Patrick Jones 11, Ruff 12, Rashod 13, Turner 14, Oujolari 15, Tryron 16, Epinesa 17, and Terrell Lewis 18. Here's my edge rankings according to the scale. This is the exact order that the video went in the very beginning, right? So Perkins 1, Phillips 2, Osai 3, Ruff 4, Pay 5, Rashod 6, Turner 7, Jones 8, Tryron 9, Rochet 10, Oujolari 11, Russo 12, Basham 13, OWay 14, Odendenji 15, and Weaver 16. Now, one thing I want to point out is, if you don't trust my rankings, this might be the one you want to go with, because this is completely unbiased right here. But the next one will be how I personally rank him for the final or the finale of this video. Here you go, my 2021 Edge Rankings personal analysis. Again, you see Ronnie Perkins, I do have him, lo and behold, being the number 1 edge rusher in this year's draft. I just love the film that I saw on this guy. I really did. Jalen Phillips 2, Osai 3, Pay 4, Russo 5, Rochet 6, Jones 7, Ruff 8, Rashod 9, Turner 10, Oujolari 11, Tryron 12, Basham 13, OWay 14, okay? And then we got Denji 15 and Rashod Weaver 16. Now what I'm going to do to end this video is I'm going to hop back on with you. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I was tired for this one. There's been a lot of scouting. We got 3 more positions to do in the next 3 days, and then I'll be releasing my mock draft as soon as I can. Listen, I'm tired. I don't know if you guys can tell by my eyeballs, but I'm tired. Again, this has been 29 hours straight without sleeping. I'm going to sleep probably pretty well tonight, but I'm going to get off this, take off my dang suit, relax, and just relax tonight and sleep, and then do my schoolwork tomorrow, start doing my linebackers, making that video and getting it released to you guys, and it will be cornerbacks and safeties. I would love to get them done in the same day. I highly doubt that will happen, but we'll have to wait and see. But last but not least, this is the last thing I want to leave you guys on. The edge rushing this year is not that great either. I'm going to be honest. There's a few names that I like. And again, I'm naming guys that might honestly go in the second, third round, and Ronnie Perkins. Now, here's my thing, and everyone's saying that, and this is why I want to show you where I don't get influenced by the media. I just said second, third round, but that's me being influenced. You don't hear Ronnie Perkins. You don't hear, you hear Jalen Phillips. Yes, that's something that we're well aware of. But Chris Ruff's another guy that you don't really hear of. But these guys, I got ranked pretty dang high. And I'm going to be honest with you, Gregory Russo is another one that's been kind of falling down boards a little bit that I think that is pretty dang good. But let me go this way to you, okay? If your team needs an edge guy, okay, and if the guy needs to run block, if you need a better, run defending kind of an edge rusher, then you take the run defending edge rusher. It's not that hard. You need a pass rushing edge defender, you take the pass rushing edge defender. You do whatever the heck your team needs, but also you don't want to really reach. But what I'm saying by reach is here's a perfect example. Ronnie Perkins might not supposed to be ranked according to the media in the second, third round. So if he goes in the first round, everyone's going to say, oh, this is a reach. This is a reach. Why is it a reach? Because the media says it's a reach. The NFL scouts should very well be saying the same thing I am, is having this guy ranked as the #1 defensive edge rusher. Watch his film and compare it to anybody. Yeah, I truly do think that he is the best, and that's the only thing I compare it to, is his film versus somebody else's film, and I liked his film the best. He's an all-around best edge rusher in this draft. There's a few other guys that are a little bit more versatile. They can actually play the linebacker position /edge /interior. Okay, if you want a little bit more versatility, go ahead. But I'm talking about a guy that can stop the run, stop the pass, and play a little bit into the flats too. Yeah, this is the guy. This is the guy for sure, and I'm a big fan of him. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. We got much more coming for you guys soon. Again, live draft show on April 29th. You guys will want to tune into that as we release the picks before you guys even hear them on TV. We'll see you guys soon. Peace. We are built better.